Welcome to episode 2 of The Basics. And today what we're going to be talking about is how to cultivate, get a healthy relationship with God. Episode 1, if you missed it, we're talking about how you get the relationship. Now we're going to talk about not how you keep it, because you can never really run away from it, but how you get it healthy. Now the greatest gift we have is that we have the ability to talk to God at any time, any moment of the day. And this is in something called prayer. Now I know you've probably heard about prayer, you probably prayed before, but I'm not just talking about before you go to bed, get on your knees and make sure you pray, or maybe before a football game you pray for good luck, or maybe if you really want something or something's going hard and you'll just throw it, God help me so, no, I'm not talking really about that. I'm talking about the act of communication with our Creator. This is what prayer is. I think a lot of times we put it in this box, if it has to be this perfect formulaic, just all put together speech we give to God, and then a lot of us disqualify ourselves because I'm not a good speaker, I don't know how to pray, I don't know how to talk, so we don't do it at all. But what I want to encourage you to do is, now that you have a relationship with God, I want to show you very simply on how to connect with Him. Now the beauty of modern day relationships with Jesus, when I say modern day I mean New Testament, after Jesus, is that no longer do you have to go to somebody else to pray for you. No longer do you have to pay a priest or pay somebody else. No. You can pray no matter how old you are, how young you are, how long you've been following Jesus, maybe for a week, maybe for years. You can pray right here, right now. And I want to show you how to do this. Now, Scripture does outline for us a good way to pray. And we can maybe jump into that later on in the series. But I really want to start at the basics. Now, prayer is a dialogue. See, if you and I were to have a conversation right now, and I was to never even ask you a question, never to interact with you, never to talk to you, and you were just trying to talk to me, would that be a conversation? It would not be. Now, the reality is God is always speaking to us, always listening to us, and always ready to have dialogue. The issue is a lot of us do not ever talk back to Him. So it would start like this. I want to encourage you, but after this video, make it a discipline at first. Then maybe just once a day, when you wake up in the morning, I know it might be funny because you're like, I can't see God, but it is by faith, not by sight, that you would take a moment and you would just begin to say, hi God, it's Ben here, or your name. I just want you to know that I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for what you've done in my life. And I've got this going on. And I want you to just start telling Him what's going on in your life. Maybe it's a schoolwork thing that's stressing you out. God, I got this test coming up. I'm stressed about it. God, would you give me peace? Maybe it's a relationship in your life that you're trying to work together that's broken. God, I got this conversation coming up. Would you be with me in the middle of it? Maybe you're just bored and you're just like, hey God, I need new friends in my life. This is the beauty of the relationship that we have with God. And it is not some perfect thing that you have to fulfill. You need to come to God exactly who you are and how you are, and just begin to have dialogue and conversation. Now you can just thank Him for things. Gratitude is a great piece of prayer you can have. I guarantee you can find some things in your life to thank Him for. I'm thankful for the clothes I have, for the family I have, for the school I get to go to. Thank Him for things. And then ask Him for things. God, I'm asking that maybe you would bring good friends into my life. I'm asking that you maybe relieve some depression in my life. I'm asking that you would show up in my life. Begin to call out and cry out to God. Start the dialogue. For me, this is how I love to do it. I love prayer walks. So for me, I get really bored if I'm just sitting in my room by myself. So for you, maybe I would encourage you, go to the beach. Take a walk with God. And just begin to ask Him about things. Pray to Him. Talk to Him. And then take time in solitude to receive. I've learned this to be the key. Sometimes we talk so much that we don't take time to pause and receive. So for me, the pattern will go like this. The rhythm will go like this. Is I will say, God, thank you so much for today. God, I'm really asking that you'll help me out in whatever situation is going on in my life. What do you have to say about it? And then I'll sit and I'll listen and I'll receive. I'll say, God, will you reveal to me throughout my day? And do you see how we're creating a dialogue with God, where it's no longer just a routine that we do every night before we go to bed or before we eat, but you begin to open up the relationship and dive in through conversations with God. You don't always need a preacher. You don't always need it to be through church or through somebody else. You have the direct line to God through prayer. So I would encourage you, begin to pray daily. This is how you cultivate that relationship, and this is how you keep it healthy. This next episode of The Basics, we're going to be looking at what is this book? Why is it important? And how do I read it? So I'll see you at the next episode.